So today we're going to do a couple things. We're going to take off the tank cover, the cosmetic fuel tank cover, the plastic cover that goes over the fuel tank on the Trident 660. So first thing, only need a few tools. You need a 5mm hex wrench. I use two of them. This helps me from torquing down too much. This lets me get into a couple of the hard to reach places. And you are also going to need an 8mm wrench and a Phillips screwdriver. I also like to have some painter's tape or masking tape handy just in case. So quick preview what we're going to do. We're going to have to take off the seat. And then we're going to have to remove each of these panels on either side, these side covers. To do that, we're going to have to remove the battery. Put that up here. And then that's going to give us access on either side of the battery. There's a bolt there and a bolt there. So removing the battery is going to let us get there. You can kind of see that right in between right there. Then we're going to remove these two bolts, and this is why you need this why you need the wrench, so you can get those little nuts off. And then the side cover is held on by basically a clip here and then a pin that goes into like a hole in the frame with the rubber grommet in there, and it's held on by friction with the rubber. That's going to open up a screw right here on this side, right there, that's going to release the tank. Then you have one here and then one on the other side after you take this off. Then we're going to remove this trim piece right here, and there's a bolt here and here. You take those two out, and then you can take the tank cover off, which lets you do a lot of things. It lets you do heated grip install, because you need to get around to a plug right here, about right there on the other side of that part of the tank where the heated grips wiring harness goes into. But maybe you want to replace these side covers, these knee indents, you want to paint the tank. So once you get that off, it's pretty easy. You can do a lot of things with it. Alright, I'm going to switch over to a voiceover here for this one. Ended up not using the painter's tape, so it looks kind of silly with it on my hand there, but you just push down on that strap to get the battery out. That holds the battery in place. I went ahead and undid the terminals with the screwdriver, and you just kind of pry it up. There is, underneath my fingers there's another little piece of rubber that adds some cushioning and protection to the battery. You can just lift that out later. Alright, that frees up the battery compartment so that we can get at the two bolts on either side. It's a little easier to get in with this kind of Allen key, and they're not torqued down very, very hard, and that's why you gotta be careful, because it's really just a metal bolt kind of just compressing plastic onto the frame, so you don't want to go too crazy with it. On this left side here, that's probably the hardest part of the whole thing, is because it's really tough to get into that bolt there, as you can see, because there's wires running through there. There's two little pieces of like wire that are kind of guiding the wires in there. You've got that one thick wiring harness, you've got the negative wire that goes to the battery, and you've got the wire or the cable that connects the key to the seat release. So you kind of have to, fiddle with that to get in there. But once you get that out, then you grab your 8mm wrench and just secure it there on that little nut there, and that allows you to get those two bolts off. Again, not torqued down very, very hard at all. And you want to really just kind of take your time. The first time I did this, it probably took me about 30-40 minutes, because I was going really slow. I had no idea what I was doing. I just figured if I took the battery out and I got those first two bolts off, and then I did these, that maybe those side covers would come off, and luckily I was right. So you get those out, and I'm going to try and save those for later. All right, so here's where it's just placed in with a pin in the middle and then a clip on the right. So the pin goes into that rubber grommet, and then the clip goes into to the tank, well, or just underneath the tank, where right next to where the little bolt hooks on the tank to the frame. So you do that one there on that side. You do the one at the center where the tank meets the seat, and then you do another one on the right side. Then there's two more underneath this trim piece that goes around the ignition, and you just reach underneath and gently pull up, and it pops right off, just those two little clips there. And then you see you have one bolt there and one bolt there. So those just come out really easy. Do one side first, and then the other. Now the difference is the four that are on the two on the front, two on the side, those are going to be short. Your long one is going to be the one at the base near where the seat goes next to the tank. So I just want to make sure you don't mix those up. I did that accidentally and couldn't figure out why it wasn't working. But that's the only difference. You have four short ones and then the one long one there. Every once in a while, when I was putting the tank back on, the one on the left there didn't quite line up, and before you try to force it or push on it or do anything too crazy, just make sure that you're not pinching any wires down at the bottom where the seat or where the tank comes down underneath. I think sometimes that's what's going on, is it might not be seated 100% correctly. So at this point, you just want to kind of, you could straddle it, or I'm just sort of reaching around like you're going to give it a big hug. Reach under, and you kind of pull out and up, and then you can kind of walk it up side to side. So you're getting over some things. There's some wires and some bits of the frame, but you just kind of slowly work your way up. And you can pull it up and back, and then you're just about done. And that's it. The paint looks really nice, and it's all pretty standard, pretty lightweight. And then you have the bare tank. It is a metal tank, so I don't think they were really doing it for weight savings. I think it's just so they had a way to make it clean by hiding all these wires and little bits of the frame and some of the other things that you can't really do with a naked bike. All right, thanks for watching.